Tonight on Beach TV News, a deadly stampede at a South Korea Halloween festival leaves many people dead. Relatives are left mystified and in mourning. What went horribly wrong? Plus, the Trump Organization is heading to trial for fraud in New York, and former President Trump is listed as a potential witness. Will he be called to testify? And Powerball Mania takes over the U.S. with the jackpot reaching a whopping $1 billion. Tune in for your chance to get in on the action. All that and more next. BTVN starts now.
Welcome to this edition of Beach TV News. I'm Anastasia Ochoa.
And I'm Will Wyman. Beach TV News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students at Cal State Long Beach.
As we come on the air tonight, we've learned that David DePape, the man who broke into House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's home, is being charged. DePape is facing attempted murder and federal assault charges after he broke into Pelosi's home looking for Speaker Pelosi. Instead, he encountered her husband, whom he beat with a hammer while shouting, "Where is Nancy?" The suspect attempted to zip tie Mr. Pelosi and duct tape his mouth. Mr. Pelosi called 911 before being rushed to the hospital, suffering from a fractured skull, arms, and hands. Speaker Pelosi says the assault left her family heartbroken and traumatized. Paul Pelosi remains in the hospital recovering from skull surgery. DePape pleaded not guilty to all charges, including elder abuse, burglary, attempted kidnapping, and threats to a public official and their family. Prosecutors say the attacker was on a suicide mission and had a list of targets. He'll serve 13 years to life in prison if convicted.
In other news, what should have been a fun Halloween celebration in South Korea quickly turned into a disaster. At least 155 people died in a crowd crush after thousands flooded into the nightlife alleys of Seoul's Itaewon district. Partygoers were reported to be crushed in the tight alleys, which are only 8 feet wide. With thousands of people trying to cram into them, partygoers were crushed against the walls and trampled. Authorities say they could not handle the huge crowds. As thousands of families mourn, South Korean officials say they are still investigating how this tragedy unfolded.
Well, back here at home, midterm elections are just 1 week away, and already more than 21 million Americans have already voted. According to election officials Edison, Research, and Catalyst, 21.4 million people have cast pre-election ballots so far in 46 states. Texas is leading the pack with nearly 3 million people having already submitted their votes. And in Florida, 2.8 million people have cast their pre-election ballots. New state polling from the New York Times finds some races could be very tight. Democratic incumbents in Nevada and Georgia are in close contest with their GOP challengers.
And in New York, the trial against the Trump family real estate business began on Monday. Prosecutors are accusing Trump's company of helping its executives evade taxes for more than 15 years. Prosecutors maintain that executives also receive many luxurious off-the-books perks, including expensive cars, private school tuition, and lavish apartments in Upper Manhattan. One executive, Alan Weiselberg, already pled guilty to multiple counts of tax fraud. He is expected to testify against the Trump Organization at the trial. The Trump Organization's lawyers argue that Weiselberg is the only executive who evaded taxes. If found guilty, the Trump administration may pay more than $1.7 million. Former President Trump is not expected to attend the trial, even though he does appear on the potential witness list.
The U.S. Supreme Court is hearing 2 new cases that could potentially overturn affirmative action. Both Harvard and the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill are citing stark racial disparities in the admissions process, particularly with Asian American students. The plaintiffs say that both universities have disproportionately declined admission to Asian American students and instead have favored Black and Hispanic students. Newly appointed Justice Jackson recused herself from hearing the Harvard case, given her previous position with the Board of Overseers. The decision from the predominantly conservative court could potentially affect both Hispanic and Black students applying to public and private universities.
And in health news, a cure is in sight for a respiratory virus that is spreading rapidly among young children. The downside is that we'll have to wait for it. Medical professionals are saying that the recent surge of respiratory syncytial virus is the worst they've ever seen. RSV is a virus that attacks the lungs. Symptoms are similar to a common cold, but it's more severe, and the disease can be fatal and lead to pneumonia or bronchiolitis. The CDC says that RSV cases are rising around the country as we head into the winter months. RSV, COVID-19, and flu cases are all on the rise, so take all the necessary precautions to protect your children and elderly relatives. Doctors are hopeful that a new RSV vaccine will be available by next fall.
In other health news, it's Red Ribbon Week, and BTVN's Jada Knight shows us how and where to get rid of expired drugs.
If you look in your medicine cabinet, you might find countless bottles of expired medicine. It's Red Ribbon Week across the U.S. This year, National Drug Take-Back Day happens on the 29th. Cities host a drop-off spot where anyone can throw away expired, over-the-counter, and prescription drugs. Daniel Espinoza says his family's medicine cabinet is filled with expired medications. He tried talking them out of keeping them.
Oh, like your uncle had this pill like 5 years ago when he had a cough, like take it now. And I'm like, I never really paid attention to it or really cared because I was like a kid. I was like, oh, medicine's medicine. Like, give me medicine, please.
Ways to safely get rid of unwanted or expired medicine, such as burying it in dirt, cleaning it, or simply flushing it down the toilet. This helps prevent sickness and from medicine getting into the body. Red Ribbon Week symbolizes the remembrance of Enrique Camarena, a DEA agent tortured and murdered by drug cartels in 1985. Yearly, Red Ribbon Week is held to represent substance abuse prevention and keeping a drug-free place and life for youth and beyond.
I think right now, just because the big epidemic with the opioid crisis is such a huge problem, I think Red Ribbon Week is important just because it spreads awareness about keeping drugs out of the hands of people who shouldn't have them.
This year's theme, Celebrate Life.
When you're able to just kind of take a step back and really appreciate what you've been blessed with in your life, I think that's how you can really celebrate. Espinoza believes Red Ribbon Week is more of a scare tactic for kids instead of bringing awareness, and that the U.S. has more to do regarding the substance abuse crisis.
I mean, it's an addiction. Like, I don't think we're fully ever going to cut it off. Like, opioids are just such a great advancement in medicine that, like, it would be a shame if we just got rid of it as a whole. And we just need to find a way to have opioids and minimize the risk as much as possible.
You can scan this QR code to find a drop-off spot near you. In Carson, I'm Jada Knight, Beach TV News.
Thanks, Jada. Twitter's new owner Elon Musk wasn't kidding when he said major changes were coming. This includes having verified accounts pay for their blue check mark. Let that sink in, Musk has said. Current users with the subscription service have to pay $5 a month and will now potentially have to pay $20. Users are worried that if a paid barrier is put in place, it would be harder to distinguish which accounts are bots and which are not. It's unclear if some accounts won't have to pay the fee. Musk tweeted the whole verification process is being revamped right now.
And Powerball Mania is sweeping the entire country tonight. After Saturday's drawing came up empty for the Powerball, the $825 million jackpot ballooned to $1 billion. 7 tickets matched the first 5 numbers during the weekend, but no one guessed the Powerball number. If someone wins the Powerball tonight, it will be the second biggest win in history. The largest Powerball win was $1.5 billion in 2016. So keep those tickets handy. Look out for that red ball. We are only minutes away from tonight's drawing. Time for a break, but when we come back, Disney's Shanghai is forced to close, leaving thousands of tourists stuck inside. What prompted the closure?
Plus, Rhianna makes her anticipated comeback in time for the blockbuster Black Panther Wakanda Forever. More details to come.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. Victory. Fumble. Repeat. It always came back.
Dad! Okay, here we go, throw it! Yeah.
You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
Nice.
Touchdown! Oh, did you see that? Whoa, we scored?
Yeah, we scored going to the playoffs.
I can't believe I missed that. Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone.
What? I should take your phone away.
No, I'll call for a ride.
Wait, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine.
Kevin, I need that back.
No.
Kevin!
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? And now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
In world news this evening, tragedy in India and the Philippines while Brazil finally has a new president. Willem Leong reports.
Tragedy in India as a suspension bridge collapses, killing at least 134. Authorities say that the bridge was recently reopened after receiving renovation repairs. The bridge is a well-known tourist attraction where visitors can sway on the 755-foot bridge. With festivities kicking off throughout India, the bridge was packed with around 200 people. Local state government have launched a criminal complaint and investigation against the agency that handled the maintenance. In the Philippines, a tropical storm rages throughout the country, causing large flooding on the island of Mindanao. Thousands have evacuated while at least 45 have been killed. The storm, known as Nalgae or Peng, has submerged dozens of schools and communities on the island. Rescue efforts are still underway as the storm is expected to impact more cities. After a tight election, Brazilian President Bolsonaro loses to President-elect Lula da Silva. This isn't the first time da Silva has won a presidential election. Da Silva previously served 2 terms from 2002 to 2010. The left-wing da Silva was then imprisoned for a bribery scandal until he was released in 2019, where he quickly launched another run for presidency. Da Silva will be sworn in for a 4-year term on January 1st.
And get this, in Shanghai, China, visitors at Disneyland were forced to stay in the park after several folks tested positive for COVID-19. That's right, park visitors were told to remain in the park after hours until they were granted clearance. The abrupt nature of the lockdown caused many visitors to try to escape by fleeing to shops near the park entrance. However, rides continued to operate under the shutdown, making the time spent there a bit more enjoyable. There has been no announced date for the park's reopening. What do you think, Will? A lockdown inside of Disneyland. Sign me up or a hard pass?
It'd be tough, but plenty of days on those rides would be fun with me.
Absolutely.
Now on to the world of professional sports, where new winners and broken records are expected. While some players stay hot, others are not. Beach TV News reporter Rhianna Torres has more. Rhianna?
Thanks, Will. It's that time of year when sports are ramping up. Several teams and players are praised for their achievements, but others are receiving recognition that is not so great.
Tom Brady of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers has a new title, but it's not something he would be proud of. Brady is now the most sacked quarterback in NFL history. On Thursday's game between the Bucs and the Baltimore Ravens, linebacker Justin Houston sacked Brady twice on consecutive plays. Brady has been sacked 556 times, and his achievements are still piling up. Brady kicked off the season by having the worst start of his 18-year career. Tampa Bay has won 3 games and lost 6 so far. All eyes will be on the star quarterback as the NFL heads into the second half of the season. Basketball's most expensive team is Golden. Forbes named the Golden State Warriors the most valuable franchise in the NBA. Worth a whopping $7 billion, the value of the recent champion has increased by 25% from last year. In previous years, the New York Knicks and Los Angeles Lakers topped the prestigious list, but the Warriors are the first team to break the streak. The franchise has earned more than $400 million in sponsorships, advertising revenue, and premium seating, which is leaps away from any other team in the league. Major League Baseball's Fall Classic was out of this world. The Houston Astros were declared as this year's World Series champion on Saturday night. They beat the Philadelphia Phillies 4-1 in Game 6, making this their second championship in 6 years. Rookie shortstop Jeremy Pena won this year's World Series MVP title. He is now the 3rd rookie to ever win the award. Throughout the postseason, Pena played spectacularly as shortstop and went 10 for 25 with a batting average of .400. At 73 years old, Dusty Baker became the oldest manager to ever win a World Series. Baker managed 5 teams in 25 years, but this is his first championship in the position. Sources say that Baker is favored to return as Astros manager in 2023, but we'll have to wait and see.
Congratulations to the Astros on their 2nd World Series title. Although baseball season has come to a close, other sports are just getting started. That's all we have for sports this evening. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Raya. Well, Rhianna has made her return to music with probably one of the most anticipated singles from an artist in a really long time. After 6 years, the singer's re-debut was in company of the movie Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. The track, Life Me Up, is a tribute to the late Chadwick Boseman who passed away in 2020. The soft ballad is a tearjerker, beginning with soft hums and an emotional tone kept throughout the full 3 minutes and 17 seconds. Rhianna is currently at the top of the iTunes charts with its contribution to the movie's soundtrack. Now for a new album, we will have to wait and see, as the Umbrella singer makes her return to the stage in 2023. But not just any stage, the Super Bowl halftime stage. Fingers crossed, Rhianna fans.
Now Rihanna's new soundtrack isn't the only trend taking over. Beach TV reporter Arlene Alfaro has more on this week's trending topics.
The 90s are making a comeback. Straight jeans, lined lips, and hair clips are all the current rage. It's been 30 years since, but these iconic looks are resurfacing, proving how the decade revolutionized the fashion industry. A peek on your TikTok For You page or your Instagram feed and you'll see your favorite influencer and celebrity rocking these iconic throwbacks. Pieces like cardigans, sheer dresses, leather chokers, bike shorts, bucket hats, and the fan fave, the high-waisted mom jean. They're all from the 90s. Devin Lee Carlson, founder of the Wildfire Case, is a major pioneer for this movement. Here's to the next expected trend, the 2000s or the Y2K era. Harry Styles is taking over the Kia Forum. The heartthrob is set to play 15 shows of his Love On tour, a long-awaiting one for fans. TikTok users have started a few trends in preparation for the big day. With a simple search of Harry Styles transition trends, fans can play one of Styles' songs and then transition it to him playing it live on stage, while others make the transition of their cute outfits for the night. Halloween was last week, but we can't stop talking about the costumes, from A-list celebrities to the biggest influencers on Instagram and TikTok. The Casamigos Halloween party brought out all the stars: Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly dressed as Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee, Lizzo as Marge Simpson, and Kendall Jenner as Jessie from Toy Story. This year's Halloween caused an uproar from Twitter users as Jeffrey Dahmer costumes are circulating the web. This comes as recent release of the popular Netflix series A Jeffrey Dahmer Story, leaving many to question why we idolize killers. The costume consists of the ultimate dad fit: light blue denim, the white t-shirt, the infamous glasses, and white sneakers. Jeffrey Dahmer Halloween costumes are banned at many bars in the serial killer's hometown of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And from the looks of it, there were no Dahmer costumes in sight at the Casamigo party.
When we return, a story perfect for All Hallows Eve. Come along as a reporter takes us on a tour of a vintage shop which is being haunted by a former employee.
Plus, a father designs the costume of the year for his disabled son. Trust me, you won't want to miss these heartwarming images. We'll be right back.
Observe a domesticated human family in their natural habitat, known to their species as the backyard.
Hey, you think I should light it now? I think it's good. Yeah?
Oh dear, someone is about to burn a pile of debris that's too tall, which can start a wildfire. Wait, could it be? Blimey, it is.
It's Smokey.
It's Smokey Bear. What a legend.
Hey, it's Smokey. Sorry, it was too high. Right.
Watch as he astutely ensures that there's no wind, and how he removes some of the debris to create a smaller, safer burning pile.
No, you said make it bigger, baby. The bigger, the better.
Take note of our fearless furry friend here, humans.
I appreciate it. Fist bump.
Watching you.
Smokey's done it again.
Bye, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
There was a time in my life where I was extremely homesick. I decided that I needed a pet. When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. He jumped up and kissed me and jumped right into my arms. I immediately went up to the volunteers at the shelter and said, I want him. He's gotta come home with me. Now I'm anything but lonely. Every day with Turtle is a perfect day and keeps me company when I'm doing schoolwork. I like it when he jumps up on the table too. He is a veggie thief. He's an incredible companion and my best friend. Can't say that I've met anybody that doesn't love him too. When I adopted Turtle, I discovered all the things that make him unique. He's a little bit of a lot of things, but mostly he's all pure love.
Welcome back. Kanye West is under fire for his recent comments online. Beach TV reporter Kate Nguyen gives us more on the billionaire and some other news happening in entertainment. Katie?
Thank you, Anasazi. Yes, Kanye West is currently in the spotlight for his recent tweets, followed by his lost brand deals for his shoe line Yeezy. K-pop group Omega X is also taking over social media as fans and the general public are questioning about their agency's management and CEO. And while production is still under the wraps, The Conjuring is coming back for its latest installment.
Talk about the Jewish comment.
Kanye West is going through a fallout. The artist recently tweeted remarks against Jewish people, which then resulted in Adidas and Balenciaga cutting off their brand deals. In a new video, West is seen making comments on the Black Lives Matter movement and questioning the death of George Floyd.
When the idea of Black Lives Matter came out, it made us come together as a people. Now afterwards, yes, there was some things where the money went. There were some things where it was used in order to push us to the Democratic vote.
Will this be the end to the billionaire's legacy? Moving into South Korea, K-pop boy band Omega X is facing a wave of concern as rumors are being spread about their CEO being abusive. SBS Entertainment released an exclusive video from the group's time in LA and shows a lady scolding what looks to be Omega X and one of the members collapsing. The company has released statements denying the claims. And for all you horror movie fans, The Conjuring is coming back for a fourth round. The production is said to bring back David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick, the writer for the second and third movie, co-producers James Wan and Peter Safran, and actors Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, who both played Ed and Lorraine Warren. More details for this movie are coming out, so keep an eye out. Well, I'm not a fan of horror movies, but I guess it's a good time to start binge watching before the new Conjuring movie releases. Back to the news desk.
Thanks, Katie. Well, speaking of haunted, an antique store in downtown Long Beach is celebrating its 100th birthday, but employees who have walked the halls of this old vintage shop say it's haunted. Beach TV News' Thomas Murray has more.
This building is the second oldest building in Long Beach and has lived as many lives as a cat, from a grocery store, a home appliance store, to a restaurant, and now an antique shop. On the eve of its 100th birthday, residents indulged in free food, tarot readings, and a ghost tour, celebrating the building's haunted history. Employees believe that the building is haunted and many have experienced paranormal activity while working at night.
We don't like to be here much later than about 8 or 9 o'clock because we feel that things really pick up in the paranormal world.
The ghost that is supposedly haunting the shop is Mr. Jaffe, a former businessman who used to work here.
So we just say, hey, Mr. Jaffe, we're going to be out of here soon, you know. So tonight what we've done is we have set up an office in a representation of one of his office that he might have worked out of in the 40s. And
other employees believe that Mr. Jaffe isn't the only ghost who resides here. The granddaughter of the original owner of this building says that when she was a kid, none of the other kids liked to be at the shop late at night because they could hear things in the back.
There was a whirl in the air. It looked like everything went into slow motion, and then there was like a cracking sound. And Becky and I looked at each other, and she's like, "Did you hear that?"
So we heard the theme about the guy who. So I wanted to check it out.
Long Beach Vintage hired a paranormal investigator to see if there is indeed any paranormal activity going on in here for tonight's ghost tour. Reporting live from downtown Long Beach, Beach TV, I'm Thomas Murray.
And it wasn't just Thomas who got into the Halloween spirit. Up next is Marita Sider, reporting from Pa's Pumpkin Patch, a beloved event to the Long Beach community. Let's take a look.
Right off of Studebaker Road and the Pacific Coast Highway in Long Beach lies Pa's Pumpkin Patch. Through the month of October, Pa's is considered a staple of Long Beach, where families can enjoy a wide range of fun activities to celebrate the fall season.
Oh yeah, I go every year, so it's kind of like a little tradition that I did with my family, and then I brought some of my friends. And it's just like I said, super cute. There's a bunch of rides. I'd probably bring like my siblings too, but I'd definitely come again.
What a fun event. I'm here in Long Beach at Paws Pumpkin Patch for its 5th decade, bringing fun to Southern California and the Long Beach community. As you can see behind me, there are fun attractions for everyone of all ages. Young or old, big or small, everyone can still enjoy the fun pumpkin picking, trying out the tasty food, or even hopping on some of the rides. Paws Pumpkin Patch first opened over 50 years ago in Long Beach, 17 of those years being held at the same location. The owners of the grounds make sure people of every background can enjoy what they have to offer with no scary monsters or attractions. When they first opened those 5 decades ago, one of the first events was only a goat tied to a pole for people to enjoy. Now the pumpkin patch has grown greatly and has become a tradition for families from all around.
Yeah, so the Pumpkin Patch is a great place for people of all ages, small or little or big, to come and have a really fun family atmosphere for, afternoons, evenings, mornings. It's a cool place where all the community gets together and have a fun family harvest festival.
If you haven't had a chance to make it out this Halloween season, you can still join in on the festivities next year at the same location. Reporting from Long Beach, this is Marita Snyder, Beach TV News. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Marita. Preparations are well underway for the Dia de Muertos, or Day of the Dead, celebrations in Mexico City. Just take a look at these beautiful and colorful altars. The holiday is celebrated every November 1st through 2nd. According to tradition, on the Day of the Dead, the heavens open and departed souls return to earth briefly. Every year, Mexicans gather in cemeteries to remember their departed loved ones. In a celebration that is the country's most important fiesta, no doubt a wonderful way to remember and keep the memories of those who have passed alive.
Many parents make Halloween costumes for their kids, but this Canadian father took it a step further.
5-year-old Easton Oding got a special costume made for this year's Halloween. The young Oilers fan had his wheelchair transformed into a Zamboni, and the costume has caught the attention of hockey fans and the National Hockey League. Oding was born with a genetic condition called duplication syndrome. The disorder has affected his legs and caused speech delays, but this did not stop the Oding's father from giving him a Halloween to remember. The NHL says this was the costume of the year, and I don't think any of us would disagree. Oh, just a bunch of great Halloween memories for him, I bet.
Absolutely. Great job from Dad, and hopefully he gets out to a game soon.
Well, that's all for today's news. I'm Anastasia Ochoa.
And I'm Will Wyman. Thanks for watching this edition of Beach TV News. Remember, you can be a part of the conversation. Check us out on Twitter and Instagram at Beach TV News. Good night, Long Beach.